Alright, so I went to locals and I did real good with my Blue Eyes Horus build, and I caught people off guard. They never saw it coming. I OTK'd most of the times, and I just had so much going that they just couldn't stop. And then I had all the power on the field. I went for game, and there's a bunch of duels I won because of Dragoon. Because it's like, alright, they see all the Blue Eye stuff and the horror stuff, and then when I play Poly, they don't think of anything else. And a few of them was like, oh, if I knew what was coming out, they would have negated it. But once I hit Poly, they thought, oh, Blue Eyes Fusion was gonna come out, or maybe Chimera, or the ones that didn't expect Chimera. It just reshapes your hand. That you just get to reshape your hand. So it's like, if even if you have bricks on hand and you get one of the stones or whatever, you just summon it, Poly, going to Chimera. Now you're ditching two bricks in hand, you're drawing two, and you're popping a card on the field. And it's like you're rescoping your hand. So Chimera was good, and like I said, once I hit Poly, they didn't think I ran Dragoon at all, unless they ran. I searched the apprentice and they saw it beforehand, but they still didn't know what I was doing. But when Dragoon hits the field, they was like, what? And then I'll pop, attack, negate something if they had something going, and burn. So Dragoon won me a few duels. Deep Eyes finished them off for some duels. So it's like, I kind of won with Blue Eyes and Power, but low key, I burned. So like, is this low key a burn deck? Deep Eyes, Coach burning, Deep Eyes burning, Dark Magician, Dragoon burn. And it's like, those burns matter because they won me games. I won against Tournaments, two rogue players. What else? I forgot the name of the other decks. And then I went X1, so it's like, I lost to that one player that I was just having fun. I didn't go for wins, I didn't go for losses. I got in some good, like, obviously you see ghost rare cards for my Blue Eyes deck, and I'm like, I wanted to play it. I'm like, I didn't just upgrade the rarities for my cards not to play them. So I went to have fun. I'm like, I'm here for fun. I don't care. I'm gonna have a blast. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm not gonna stress myself out. I'm here for fun. And then every time I kept going undefeated, like, what are you playing? I'm like, Blue Eyes. They're like, really? And you're undefeated? And then it turned into X1. And they were like, you're X1 with Blue Eyes? They're like, no way. What are you playing? And I'm like, Blue Eyes with the horror stuff. And then when I explained the synergy and everything, and then I'm like, randomly, Dragoon 2, they just never see it coming. So I lost to that one player because he's a dickhead. He comes to locals. He was playing the exact build in the exact deck that the guy who won YCS regionals or indie or whatever it's called. He played the exact deck. So once he played a certain thing, your game. I guess you're playing by yourself. Cause I'm not prepared for that. Nor did I come prepared. Nor did I wanted to be prepared. I came to play and have fun with Blue Eyes. I guess you're that dickhead that's just gonna stop everything. And he was the one who tried to sell me one of the Horus cards that was $5 for 40 cards. So he has the mindset of coming, playing the best deck, even though everybody else is having fun and local, and just killing the fucking game state of everybody, annoying everybody. It's like, why are you even here? We're just here to have fun and everything. But his mindset is to win, get the prizing, pull something good hopefully, and sell it and overcharge. And it's just, you just know there's that one duelist that just fucking kills it, and everybody else was having fun and a blast until they just come across you. So, but either way, still being X1 with Blue Eyes is like, it's fucking random. And like I said, I got rarities and I did fucking good. I'll open up these last, but let's get into it and I'll show you. It was a 3-card, depending on your hand, like 3 cards that could get you into Dragoon and you're not locked in with like Red Eyes Fusion. And I'll show you at the end. And I had a blast talking with them, like just talking to your opponent, having fun. And then a card came up and I'm like, wait, theoretically, can I use that card? I'm like, it would have synergy with cards. So I'll show it at the end. So 2 Blue Eyes. I got the Ghost Rare, so I wanted to play with the cards. I don't just collect them. It's a hobby to me, so I want to play with them. One alternative theory to me, I'm running 3 Blue Eyes in the deck. At least one of them, even if I have all 3, is not a brick, because I can reveal, special summon, like old school Kaiba from the anime, free Blue Eyes on the field, at least one of them's not a brick, and I can special summon, pop, then you can just go from there. I've summoned this once in all my games. I'm like, but it worked when it wanted to, and I just think it's cool. So most of the time, I just ditched it for the Horus cards. 2 Jets, 1 Abyss, Spirit. Just to note, its name is always treated as a Blue Eyes card. So if you're going Dictator of D, you can use him multiple times, and I've used him where just like banish. Let's say he leaves the field, get rid of him, whatever. Dictator of D can use him again, like special summon, banish a back row, special summon back in the back row. So it's like a constant depending on what your hand in the game state. You're just banishing back row. And 1 Deep Eyes, which helped me win a lot of duels, because it's like even if I just had a little bit, but I didn't have game, then they'll try to do something. And I beat Tearlaments too. Full throttle Tearlaments. I burned him and won the third game, so I completely beat him. I won game 1. He was unprepared and he didn't draw good. And then he won game 2. He had everything. And then game 3, I won and just burned him. So they never see this coming, and you can search it up for Abyss. And once his special summon, if that's not negated, the special summon and the burn is in one shot before his second effect activates. So it was special summon and burn for each dragon with a different name in my graveyard. And then his other effect would activate on field to target a Blue Eyes, and he gains their attack. But it's mainly the burn and the only hand trap, really. But he goes with the deck. 2 Dictators of 3. I didn't want it at 3 because I'm like, you don't want to draw 3 in hand. At least 2. You can just ditch 1 to summon the Blue Eyes. 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue. 1 Maiden. And the way I see it, you summon Maiden for multiple reasons. And I'll show you when I get to it. But then you can use this to target. So then off of these 2 by themselves, you basically turn into 2 lower tuners and 2 weak monsters. And she will bring out a Blue Eyes. And then this, you can bring out Jets. So now you have Blue Eyes and Jet for protection. Or you can go Blue Eyes and summon out Abyss. And since, both of them require Blue Eyes to be on the field or in graveyard for the effects, Blue Eyes will hit the field first. And then off of Sage, Abyss will hit the field, and since Blue Eyes is there, search out the Chaos Ritual spell, and if you have the monster, you can just bring him out, or you can search Poly, and now you can fuse, and even fuse into other things. So that was the main thing that helped me win is fusions. 1 Stone of Legend. I'm gonna use that in a new thing too, and I'll show you the combo. 3 of the other stones. How many you want to go into this? You can discard them off of the spell for the Horus cards, and then you get 3 monsters on board. If you get 2, you get 2 monsters. All depends on your hand. And then that's it for the direct line of Blue Eye stuff. And then what threw people off, but as you see, most of their support is spellcasters. There's like 2 Apprentice Magician and 1 Dark Magician, and they never see this little package included. So it's like I get to run Dragoon, and then she special summons by discarding a card. So I can discard the stones, and if it's the other stone that just special summon to the field, like I get to ditch 1, special summon. Then I get to search Dark Magician. So it's like you could just do so many things with even this little thing, and they never start coming. I'll show you a combo to bring out Dragoon with at least 3 cards. This is to go into certain synchros, Assault Synchron, including Chaos Angel, 1 Melody. The deck is at 45, so if you don't want to count, it's at 45, but I want to cut it down, and there's cards in here that were good, but it's like, I feel like they're unnecessary, so I will take them out. But they did help and work when they wanted to, when you saw it together with something else. 1 for 1, Chaos Form. Then I was running Mausoleum, And this has so many extra effects, and I'll just show you in the combos. And then since they're spellcasters, I played this, and a few of my opponents only had spell cards and they couldn't play because I'll end with a spellcaster. Seti is a spellcaster, so with Secret Village they couldn't play, and then I can just keep recurring or just go from there and OTK, which I did. The one terraforming to search either or out, and I'll show you the application. Like, I didn't think of this card in a bigger way until the tournament, and I was like, oh shit, I just realized that. You know, some things you only realize at a tournament or while you're playing it. Dragon Shrine. I'm going to cut this, but Piercing the Darkness. If Blue Eyes attack, this becomes a built-in honest. If any normal monsters attacks, that's 5 or higher, or any ritual, synchro, fusion, or exceed monster that used a vanilla monster as material also gets the built-in honest. So this was fucking crazy using this with Chaos Max, since it banished Blue Eyes and as a ritual summon for the Chaos Max, and attacking something in defense mode, and then he pierces and does double damage. This with Chaos Max, I gain their attack even if they're in defense mode. I gain their attack to Chaos Max and burn for more damage. Like, this is good and when it wants to be good, and then it's a draw 1 if you special summon on your turn or their turn. It's a draw 1 of any vanilla monster. So, but I still don't like it, so I don't know. This is, like I said, phase 1. Then there was 2 polys. And running off just to end this all, Harpies, 1 Lightning Storm, and triple Tactical Thrust. Also, why I was running Terraforming, because let's say they activate something, a monster effects. Then I could go into, I can't search the field cards because this only search a normal spell or trap, but I can search Terraforming. Then Terraforming will get me what I need. Trying to hurry up so it's not a long video, and I'll show you two different things. Getting into Dragoon and other things. I don't know if anybody ever thought of it, but I'm Seti at 3, and then I run all the other ones at 1. The Drora, the get 2 cards back from graveyard or banished, and I normally, no matter which one gets triggered or if all 3 gets triggered, could they remove something else which happened at the tournament, I would do their effects first and end with him because his is not doing nothing, but at least his chain block would chain block the other one, so you get all of their effects if they don't have something specifically to negate individually. But then since he's last, he just offers protection for all the other ones to go off. 2 of the spell and 1 of the trap, which I only saw once, so I definitely want to cut this. I feel like it's useless. Like, it's very specifically needed, but I feel like it's useless. 1 Dragoon, 1 Blue Eyes alternative. I summoned it twice. Twin. I used it against somebody who played trap cards, and it was just my day. Especially join Harpies and somebody plays all traps and it was like then proceeding to OTK. It was just, I'm like, I'm sorry, today's my day. I didn't come to win or lose, but my deck's giving me all the answers. 1 Chaos Max, and this is perfect. Summoning out the Assault Synchron. All the Blue Eyes cards is light, so it's like you have your Dark Tuner, your Light Dragon. You can go into him and you get both of their effects, and he helped me win a few duels because he's unaffected by my opponent's monster effects, and he can't be destroyed by battle. So he was sitting there lovely, just doing stuff, and then Jet kept coming back and helping out. So 1, this guy. Coach to draw and burn, especially if you're just setting up with the monsters, so you get to dig deeper. I used this once, and I used it by mistake, not knowing what the opponent was playing, because I won game 1. Like I said, he drew bad, and then he only had those cards that remove the those dragons that remove when a light and dark to bring them out. I forgot, but all he had was that. But then I did this, and I still won. But I did this, and then I saw that his deck was Tearlaments, and I was like, oh shit, he's playing Tearlaments, and I just fucked up. But I still ended up winning. But if I knew it was just Tearlaments and he just had that one monster, I would not have did this, and then proceeded to just have power and I had control because he had nothing until I did this, and then he milled, and then milling went into more milling, and then something else, and then like I said, I still won because I did enough damage where he was going off, and then he popped one of my Blue Eyes cards, and then I summoned Deep Eyes and burned him for game. So I was like, I if I would have knew, I just wouldn't have added him. But one of this guy, I only used him like twice, but he's useful when he wants to. But everybody kept thinking they can't activate their effects with 3,000 or more. And they kept thinking they couldn't attack either. This says nothing about attacking or can't attack. All this does is anything 3,000 and higher cannot activate their effects, but I can bounce on my turn only, or whatever it says. But you can still attack with those monsters. It's just they can't activate their effects. That's 3,000 and above. So at the end of the duel, obviously I'm not gonna act or say anything, but I'm like, why didn't you attack me? And they were like, they kept thinking this was like secret organism of ancients or whatever it's called. So they didn't attack me. I'm like, okay, but for future reference, this says nothing about not attacking. If you're 3,000 or higher, you just can't activate your effects, but you can attack over him, and still get rid of him. I'd never seen this guy, so I might just put this there. I feel like I spent money on this for no reason, and this was not cheap. But I've never seen this card ever, or used it, or felt the need to use it, so I definitely want to probably take that out, leave it for my collection, or sell it. But then Linkuriboh, Relinquish Enema, Appaloosa. These are all free with the Horus cards, because then it's like I had all the Horus. Then I went into one of these. They solemned, and then I'm like, okay, bring those 3 Horus back since I didn't do it the next turn, and then proceed to just end game. Like the recursion was crazy. Blackluster. I also did this, and they solemned him, and I special summoned everything back. It was a different turn, obviously, and then kept going. So they were like, that's crazy. And one Ashes Cold Talker. So to end this off real fast, I'll show you what I was talking about. The application, and then the Dragoon. And the card choice of what I was talking with one of the people I was dueling with. And we were just talking about old school stuff. He didn't have hand traps. I wasn't playing hand traps. And he told me the effect of one of his cards. And I was like, theoretically, I can use that in my Blue Eyes deck, right? And he goes, what do you mean? I'm like, it powers up light monsters. For every tuner in the graveyard, Blue Eyes is nothing but light monsters. And then most of the tablets, the spellcasters that are searchers and everything, they're tuners. So if I get all of them in the graveyard, which I normally do, then they power up all my light dragons that are on the field. And he goes, oh shit, you can. Like the other effects don't power up, but the powering up and the recursion does. So, but I was just saying with this and I'll just show you what I was talking about with these. It's like with Mausoleum. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but with Mausoleum, it never... Oh, that's not Mausoleum. I'm bugging. With Mausoleum, and the thing I was talking about was like, I didn't realize, you just playing, and then shit just pops in your head while you're dueling. And I'm like, I never really used this card to the max or really at all, but it was a few different applications. But then I was like, this is my own deck, but shit happens. So I'm like, when you summon this, normally if you bring out, let's say, Jet, Abyss, or whatever, you don't get their effect if you don't have a Blue Eyes in graveyard already. But in combination with this, I'm like, it just like dawned upon me. I can normal summon, activate effect to target him, send Blue Eyes to from the field to the graveyard. He would get powered up by 800 by the normal, the normal monster sense. But what I was getting at is, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm so slow, and this is my own deck, and I don't know nobody's ever saying this stuff like on YouTube. I haven't seen it nowhere at all. So it's like, together, use him, target him, send a Blue Eyes, then you can link him away for like Link Karibo or something. But now, even just off of these two, because you link someone with Link Karibo, you have a Blue Eyes in graveyard. So whether you bring out Jets or Abyss Dragon, now that you send Blue Eyes, this becomes live. Like, it makes them live. So it's like his bouncing will be live, or once he hits the field, you get Poly or the Ritual card, depending on what you're playing with, off of just these two cards. So it's like, normally, like, you think you might not have nothing, but now you have this, let's say, because you sent the Blue Eyes, now you get to search Poly or the Ritual card. And since it's end turn also, with this one, you get to search, if you search the Ritual, just search Max. Or if you search, what I normally do is I search Poly, and then I search Deep Eyes, because it searches a dragon. So then in my head, which helped me win for burn or just something else, once they destroy him now, I can activate Deep Eyes and burn them for each different dragon in the graveyard. And even if it's just these two, if that's 1200, but then Deep Eyes is coming out to replace him from being destroyed by, when he's destroyed by battle or card effects. And if it's by card effect and they keep going, then they'll burn, Deep Eyes comes out. And then it also, if they pop Deep Eyes by effects, it Regekis their field at the same, right there and then. So then they're like, who plays Deep Eyes? And I'm like, I do. You might not like it, but its applications work for me. Oh, let me show you when the cards to bring out Dragoon. So it was having that on the field in my hand. Like, whatever else is in your hand is just extra, but there's like multiple ways to get to Dragoon in my deck. But I'm going to show you how I did it, and they were caught off guard. So it was basically these three cards, and I'm looking for the other cards while I'm talking to you, so that way you don't see nothing happening or think nothing's happening. So that was that, and that. Alright, so I know, looking at this hand, you're thinking you don't really have much, but there's multiple things. You can even normal summon, search out a stone, link away for Link Karibo. Since you have the stone in hand, do this. But this is what I did off of this card to just summon Dragoon. You get one pop, but you have Dragoon, which is annoying. They never see it coming, especially if they're unprepared. So it's like, I used her effect to special summon to ditch Blue Eyes to the graveyard. Now this is live. When this is special summon, you get to search out Dark Magician. Now this is your hand, this is your field. Since she sent him, then you can use him to send her to the graveyard and bring out a Blue Eyes card. And since you have Blue Eyes in graveyard, I summon Abyss. Once Abyss hits the field, remember this is 3 cards too. Then there was multiple ways to do it, but I'm showing you basic. So then once Abyss hits the field, since I have Blue Eyes in graveyard, I search out Poly. Now for Dragoon, it says Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon, or any effect dragon. So you have that. Now I played Poly, fusing Dark Magician that I searched off for Apprentice, and because I special summon Abyss, that's an effect dragon, I would go into these two and just go into Dragoon, because Dragoon is a dragon, any effect dragon, and Dark Magician. So once I did this, because once I played Apprentice, They was like, what the hell are you doing? You're playing Apprentice in the deck. And then I proceeded to do this, to do this, to go into this. And they was like, it makes sense. And like, they didn't see it coming. Nobody did. And then you only get one pop though, because you use Dark Magician. Normally you get two pops when you fuse it with Red Eyes. But I don't like the fact that you're locked in to Red Eyes Fusion, just one monster. So like, even with this, and whatever else is in your hand is just extra. But this way I got into Dragoon. They never saw it coming. They were unprepared. They weren't expecting it, and they couldn't out it. So I just burn. And when he pops and burns, if you have Jet in graveyard and Blue Eyes, since he popped something, they burn. Jet will activate since the card was destroyed, bringing himself back. And then if they went, you negate something, negate and destroy. Since they played it on the field, if you know spell wise or trap wise, then you could just bring out the other Jet from hand or graveyard. So it was just busted. But the card I was talking to a friend about, well, I consider him my friend now because we just had a deep conversation while we were dueling. Was this card, Peaceful Planet, and it deals with the Mandanium cards or whatever the hell they're called. But once he told me the other effects, I'm like, in theory, I can use that in Blue Eyes deck, right? He goes, I guess, I think so, because they're light. And then all the Blue Eyes cards, monsters are light, except Max. And not only that, this powers up all light monsters on the field by 100 for each tuner on the field and in graveyard. So all the stones are tuners. All three of the spells, all the monsters, Maiden Wise, the blue, and the other one, they're tuners. So on average, doing so much with this deck, normally you have all those tuners in graveyard. So it's like this will power up the Blue Eyes that are on field. I'm like, I won't use the other effect. And then not only that, if you use it with like stone, it's like its other effect applies where, like, let's say you had nothing but stone. Since it's a tuner, this will bring it back if it was destroyed once per battle or effect. And it's like, let's say they have two monsters. The first one attacks into it, destroyed, hits graveyard, activates. This chains to it. This will special summon it back, and then his searching would search out a Blue Eyes. So then it's like, alright, now the second monster attacks, destroys it, and it stays destroyed. And then you will search out another Blue Eye. So now you have two Blue Eyes in hand. And then if you manage to get them to the field, like this just will power them up. So I'm like, I'm going to play test this, and I want to use it in the deck. It doesn't work with the Mandanians, but my thing is, it will power up all my dragons, and then I'm sending the tuners to the graveyard. So whatever Blue Eyes cards come out, they will just be powered up. And there's so many tuners in this deck that it's just extra power. And then if any of the tuners are just destroyed, like, it'll just bring one of them back. So I'm like, I think this is a great card to try. And you don't have to. I'm going to definitely change this deck up a lot. And I don't know, I just thought, why not? So I went X1. Some days you have real good hands. I had real good hands because there was people that set 5 back row and end turn. And I'm like, I drew into fucking Harpy's Feather Duster. I'm like, Harpy's Feather Duster? And they was like, I'm sorry, but my deck is giving me all the answers today. But like I said, until I ran into that one player that just was playing the top meta decks just to win, just to get prizing, just to sell the cards for expensive. He wasn't going there for fun. He was killing it for everybody. Everybody else was having fun interacting. But this is my Blue Eyes Horus Dragoon on the side deck profile. It did great. I'm gonna upgrade it, make it even better. But I love the outcome, and I had fucking fun. Minus that one duel with that one person, but I had fucking fun. And it's like, who can say they went X1 with fucking Blue Eyes? I can. But progress. and I'm still working on my other build, which is way better with the Arcana Knights and Horus. That just does something else, but that's coming soon once I get the rarities I want. I don't want to do the video until I get the rarities I want, or if I come first place in the tournament. But I still want those rarities. I want the quarter century attempts. I mean, Amseti. Later.